is a time of intense political churning in the country, and joining me now is General Secretary of CPM, Sitaram Yechury, who is going to talk about the role of the left in the coming days ahead. Sir, 2024 is just upon us, and if opposition leaders think that they have to provide an alternative to Prime Minister Modi or the BJP, what is going to be the role of the left? What is going to be the strategy of opposition leaders here?
Well, as far as the role of the left is concerned, as far as the CPM is concerned, we had a party congress in April where we decided that we shall work for the broadest mobilization of secular forces to take on this Hindutva communalism. And the main issue today is to safeguard the character of the Indian Republic as defined as a secular democratic republic by the Indian Constitution. All this is under assault. To safeguard that, it is essential to keep the BJP away from controlling the reins of government and the state power. So for that, we will work for the largest mobilization of all the secular forces. That is our stated objective.
So who are these secular forces on your radar? Who are you going to talk to?
All the those who profess their commitment and adherence to the values of the Indian Constitution, to its tenets, and the basic fundamental pillars of our Constitution, which is essentially our secular democracy, economic sovereignty, social justice, and federalism. These are the four main pillars of our Constitution. All those who agree that they should be safeguarded and strengthened, we will go with them.
Sir, we had the opposition coming together during the presidential polls, but opposition parties could not put up a fight also. So do you think you can convince the people of the country that you are serious about providing an alternative to the BJP?
It's not the people of India who elect the president and vice president. There's an electoral college. So that cannot be equated with saying that you couldn't win the election. When the electoral college is loaded in favor of the BJP, naturally they'll win. I mean, because it's only the MPs and MLAs who vote for the president, and only the MPs who vote for the vice president. So that can't be equated with support amongst the people. So among the people now, all the parties are taking their own initiatives to reach out to the sections that have in whom they have their influence. They're all doing their independent activities. All that will be coalesced together by the time of another 2 years.
So Nitish Kumar, Bihar Chief Minister, was here recently. He met every political leader while in Delhi. So there is speculation that he's projecting himself as a possible PM candidate. What are your views on that? Does he have the ability? Can he bring parties together on the same page?
You see, there's not going to be anything at the national level with under one single leader. That has never happened in India. It will never happen. If you look at the earlier experiences, I mean, no need to go back to the Janata Party or the post-emergency. But go from 96, you had Devagowda as the Prime Minister. The United Front that made him the Prime Minister was formed after the election. In 98, Mr. Vajpayee became the Prime Minister. The NDA that made him the Prime Minister was formed after elections. In 2004, Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, and the UPA that made Dr. Manmohan Singh the Prime Minister was formed after the elections. So look at our own political history. I mean, don't convert a parliamentary democracy into a presidential form.
Are you saying then that there's only a post-poll alliance which is possible and not a pre-poll alliance?
There will be pre-poll alliances at state level. Like you had one example of Tamil Nadu, where you had all the secular forces coming under the major political force in that particular state. So state-wise, which are the major forces? They will be the ones that will decide and unite all the secular forces. So the understandings and alliances, etc., will happen at the state level. And then subsequently, it will coalesce into a national formation.
So you're talking about alliance of secular parties. What do you have to say about CPM and the Congress in the backdrop of the recent controversy sparked by Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's 12-day tour of Kerala, but just 2 in Uttar Pradesh?
Well, but it's up to them. The Congress is what they decide, and how they want to do their yatra is their decision. There's nothing that we can say. We can only point out the inconsistencies there. But whatever is their campaign in Kerala, In Kerala, the political polarization is between the CPIM-led LDF and the Congress-led UDF. The BJP is nowhere in the picture. They don't have a single MLA. So naturally, I mean, that they'll raise things about us that our Kerala unit or our Kerala party is perfectly capable of answering. We have been answering and the people of Kerala have been supporting us. It is unprecedented for any government or any party or formation to win a consecutive election in Kerala. It's never happened in the last 50 years. But it's happened now. People repose their faith in us. That they will.
So why do you think Congress party is spending so much time in Kerala but not going to election-bound states like Gujarat, not going to Himachal yet, just 2 days in Uttar Pradesh? And what do you think of Jairam Ramesh's comment that left is the A-team of the BJP in the land of Mundu Modi?
These are questions you should ask Mr. Jairam Ramesh, not me. Why they are doing what they are doing is their business to answer. So you please ask him.
How do you see the comments of the Congress leaders, sir? As a left leader, as somebody who is going to play an important role in bringing secular parties, does it help in uniting opposition parties?
These comments, they are all being answered in Kerala and they will be answered by the people of Kerala. So that's it, leave it there. I mean, that is, they've already answered people of Kerala, they'll answer them.
So you did not say whether Nitish Kumar deserves or has the ability to be the Prime Minister. Would you like to comment on that?
Everybody has qualities who can be a good Prime Minister. India has also seen that. We had Devagowdas, we had Indra Gujrals, you had, earlier Mr. Chandrasekhar, and you had Mr. Charan Singh, you had Dr. Manmohan Singh, who served for 10 years, the longest after 2 consecutive terms after Jawaharlal Nehru. So, I mean, there is no question. Everybody has qualities who can be the Prime Minister. Now, what will be the formation that will come up after the elections? After the state level, alliances and the unity of the secular forces, that will decide then.
What do you have to say about what is happening in West Bengal currently? Even as we speak, there's a clash between the LOP's march over there, which is the BJP's march to the Secretariat. What do you have to say between the clashes between the TMC and the BJP?
We understand the compulsions of your channel and the other media. But for the last more than a month, there have been mega protest actions being conducted by the left. That doesn't come into your notice, but it comes into people's notice. That is where you'll all be missing out when the issue will come. But these actions are going on in Bengal against the misgovernance and the misrule of the TMC government and the large-scale corruption that has been unearthed.
Which action you are saying? Your protests or the BJP's protest?
About what? I mean, our protest. BJP started today. We have been going on for the last 2 months. And these protests in a very, very big way it has happened. For BJP, it's more of a political point. I mean, it's not that they are concerned about corruption or misrule. Their misrule in the country is there for everybody to see.
Sir, in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister, also has made her intentions very clear to occupy a leadership space when it comes to opposition parties. What would you have to say to that?
Again, I'll repeat, all that will be discussed and decided after the elections. As I told you, with regard to Mr. Nitish Kumar, when you asked me, the same thing applies everywhere. So first, consolidate and concentrate in the states and defeat the BJP there.
So you have that to say to all the leaders, Nitish Kumar, Mamata Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, everybody who is pitching themselves as the probable PM face.
I don't know. It's you who are saying that they are pitting themselves. They are not. Mr. Nitish Kumar here in this office said that I am not a candidate for the PM. But for you and the media, you want some sort of a thing like this in order to project it as a polarized thing between BJP and the opposition. No, the opposition stands for India, for the Indian constitution. It's not a tutu-mai-mai. It is a very serious existential battle for the secular democratic Republic of India.
What, in your opinion, will the Congress party occupy in this opposition alliance? A leadership position, or will the Congress party have to take a second step or a step back?
As I said, it will happen at the state level first. That is, wherever the Congress is the dominant party, they will be in the leadership to mobilize the secular forces. Wherever they are not, the regional parties will do it. And that is how it'll have to work out. So everybody has their role. What will be their role finally after the election? That will depend on what happens in the elections.
Are you then saying that it will be decided on the numbers that every political party gets in the Lok Sabha elections? It will be driven by the numbers.
What is democracy about? Why is Mr. Modi the Prime Minister? Not because of numbers. So the point is, of course, in a democracy, numbers are the ones that determine.
Another question, sir. Opposition parties have always alleged that BJP is misusing the ED and the CBI to topple elected governments and to target opposition leaders. But do you think that claim of the opposition is going to be diluted because of what has been unearthed in West Bengal especially? When you have seen mounds of cash being unearthed days in a row.
The question we want to ask the Modi government is that why did it take you 7 years to do this when all these charges were there before you? Sharda scam, Narda scam and all that. And that was the deal that was being made between BJP and the TMC. Why did they wait for these 7 years? Why was this not proceeded upon when all the evidence was available? That the BJP must answer. But otherwise, they are misusing and misutilizing the central agencies, targeting opposition parties and leaders all over the country. But what has happened in Bengal is actually a very, very late action against the known corruption scams that were there. That everybody in Bengal knows, except the CPI and the ED, and of course the Modi government.